This is a whiskey that's reaching out from beyond the grave. It's time for a whiskey ghost story. Welcome to a Whiskey on the West Coast ghost story. I want you to picture yourself, 1897. You're in the Speyside, somewhere near the town of Aberlour. You're nestled in near the banks of the River Spey. You hear in the background the sound of bagpipes. There seems to be an excitement in the air. It seems a joyful occasion, one filled with hope and dreams. Dreams for what the future may have in store. Hopes for what this new distillery may bring to the community and the people that live there. It's Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee celebration. And they're raising a cast iron crown atop the mashings of this new distillery. The distillery is just being built, but it's going to be named in honor of Queen Victoria. It is a momentous occasion. Just about a year later, on July 2nd, 1898, the first mashing will occur at this distillery, and it will start to produce whiskey. But by the time 1899 rolls around, this distillery will already be closed. This distillery is one of the most unlucky, ill-timed, and perhaps cursed distilleries that Scotch whiskey has ever known. It's a distillery that was closed more years than it was ever open. I am talking about the Imperial Distillery. In 1899, when the Imperial Distillery closed due to the risky business of the whiskey business, it would be closed for 20 years and would reopen just after the First World War in 1919. It would be open for 6 years, 6 short years, before it was closed again. It was closed for 30 years this time. When it reopened in 1955, it had its longest spell of consistent operation, 30 years as well, until 1985, when the distillery was once again mothballed, as the whiskey industry was hit by what is commonly referred to as the whiskey lock, an overabundance of whiskey no one seemed to want. Change in ownership once again signaled the return of Imperial when Allied distillers purchased them in 1989 and then reopened them in 1991. This would last just 7 years. During this time, Imperial would release their first and only ever official bottling, the Imperial 15-year-old Special Distillery bottling, bottled at 46% no less. The distillery closed in 1998 and was demolished in 2013. Rising from Imperial's rubble was the Delmonic Distillery, which was built in 2015. What we have left of Imperial is very, very rare. Imperial never really got a chance to shine until it had already been torn down and had been left to the sands of time. It was closed for 71 of the 116 years it existed. That means it only was operational for 45 of the 116 years, which is quite incredible. The bottle of Imperial I have beside me here is an independently bottled single cask, bottled for the Kensington Wine Market in Calgary. KWM has fantastic cask picks, and this one is actually done by the independent bottler Single Malts of Scotland. They're owned by Elixir Distillers, who is also responsible for the Elements of Islay range, and they're the owners of the Portnaturran and Tormore distilleries, Portnaturran being a new distillery on Islay. The owner, Sukhinder Singh, was formerly known for owning the Whiskey Exchange, which has now been purchased by another business. But he's continuing on with these ventures, and he has a particular soft spot for Imperial, which I'm very thankful for. This single cask of 1998 Imperial was distilled on January 10th, 1998. It was bottled on June 24th, 2021. It's 22 years old, 54.1% ABV. Is from an Ex Bourbon barrel, and only 191 bottles were made. I feel very thankful to have this bottle, and I've cracked it in celebration of Halloween. Seems fitting for a ghost. Let's check out this whiskey. Let's cut the dramatics a bit. Focus on what's in the glass. This is a fresh crack. This is a neck pour, and I am already looking forward to this bottle opening up because it's already so pretty. It's got this amazing fruity and floral, yet malty balancing act going on. Just dancing in the glass. There's like honey and honeysuckle, let's say, because the florals are in there. It's like a flower meadow, but maybe it's an orchard with fruit trees too. There's full-on tropical fruits, and the stone fruits are definitely playing more towards like apricot, peach, maybe a bit of like mango, like some real nice like of those like orange tropical fruits. But it's so nicely balanced with some maybe like a light like toffee. It's probably coming from that maltiness, the sweetness there. Again, it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. Honestly, there could be a bit of an orange thing going on here too, leading me towards something like a black tea, like an orange pekoe tea, which so often, like I've mentioned that note before in the past when reviewing things like black art and other older whiskeys. It's just older whiskeys, I find oftentimes a black tea note. From the nose, I feel like this is going to be creamy, fruity, malty, and just a wonderful, sweet, delicious whiskey. I'm hoping the palate delivers. And spoiler, I have had this whiskey before. I've had samples of it. I bought a bottle. But again, I just cracked it just now for this video. All right, bottoms up. Well, there's the real black tea note. Wow, on the palate. Oh, wow. Bit of waxiness as well. Very much, I wanted to turn around there and look at my bottle of Clynelish 14. It's like the waxiness I get off that bottle, but on absolute friggin' steroids. Oh yeah. Yeah, and there's like that butterscotch toffee note is going on. This is friggin' delicious. Yeah, the fruits are coming through as well. More along the tones of like a caramel apple or some apple, but still like that peach note as well. Maybe even like almost like a medicinal cherry note too, on the finish right now. This is rich. This is a finish that's gonna deliver for a real long time if I just let it sit on my palate, which you guys don't want to sit around and wait for, but once I get off camera, I'm gonna enjoy this whiskey very, very slowly. Oh my word. Yeah, this is just a shame. This is a shame that we don't have this distillery with us anymore, because by all accounts, it really seems like a distillery that really came into its own once it had a couple decades of age onto it. With maturity, this whiskey just blossomed into something beautiful that's oftentimes compared to something like Clynelish, which is just becoming harder and harder for all of us enthusiasts to get our hands on. A 20-something Clynelish, how much is that going to run you these days? Well, this isn't cheap either. But fortunately, Kensington Wine Market, again, probably one of my favorite whiskey shops in Canada. No, it is my favorite whiskey shop in Canada. They have fantastic single cask picks. Andrew Ferguson, the owner, and all the staff there, they do a fantastic job. And this is no exception. This is amazing, and it was at a fair price at the shop last year. I could wax lyrical and poetic about this. I really want to take time to write down tasting notes. I did that in the past with the samples. I lost those tasting notes in our lovely fire that we had, but I want to get well acquainted with this whiskey. I really shouldn't give it a score. I don't want to give it a score. It's looking towards the 90s for a score, though. If you told me I had to give it a score right now, it's probably going to be like 90, 91 points. This is immaculate, nectar of the gods sort of whiskey for me. Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful profile. And it's just such a shame that there's so little of it left. And it's only going to get rarer, and it's only going to get more expensive. So if you happen to see an Imperial from this independent bottler, I'd say snap it up if it's at a fair price. Signatory, I know Ralphie had a review of a Signatory independently bottled Imperial that he said was just, he was not impressed at all. He highly cautioned people against buying Imperial because of that bottle. It sounded like this one is immaculate. So I have high confidence in what Single Malts of Scotland are doing with their Imperial. I've had fantastic Ardmore from them and a fantastic Glenbergie. I really have a lot of confidence in this independent bottler. So if you're not familiar with Single Malts of Scotland and Elixir Distillers, you should become familiar. I think there's something you should look into, and even the Elements of Isla range. They really seem to be doing some great stuff. So kudos to them. Kudos once again to the crew at KWM. Yeah, I'm gonna love tucking into this whiskey. I wish I could give you more right now, but on the spot, those are the notes I could give you in this moment. I have a question for you guys in regards to ghosts and ghost distilleries. I want to know, have you ever tried a ghost distillery? If so, which one? Or if you've tried many, what one really sticks in your mind as a special experience? And if you haven't, what is at the top of your list of ghost distilleries you would like to experience? Recently, I had a Capardonic, and honestly, this Imperial kind of blows the SMWS Capardonic I had recently out of the water. Thank you for watching this far. I love seeing all the comments. I love the engagement. Thank you so much for your support. If you don't know, I have started a Patreon page now with extra videos and some extra perks, and just another way that you can support Whiskey on the West Coast in bringing more whiskey videos in the future. If you're new here, just go ahead, if you can, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for actually clicking on this video and watching, and I hope you come back for more, as I do all the regulars. Let me know what you think about this kind of hokey, dramatic Halloween ghost story. I hope you always all have a fantastic Halloween, whether you're trick-or-treating with your kids or getting up to some trouble, let's say. Until next time, from the West Coast, happy Halloween. Slange.